A very big welcome to our listeners on 97.3 City FM. And of course, welcome back to our viewers who've been with us on City TV. It's time for the Heritage On Air series. And today, we're talking about meals from Northern Ghana. We're going to be looking at the heritage that they hold, a little bit about their preparation, the ingredients, and the geographical significance, because we're talking, of course, about foods that represent different parts of the northern part of this country that we so dearly love and that we're celebrating in the Heritage Month on City. This segment, of course, is sponsored by Malta Guinness and Akosombo Textiles Limited, ATL. Now, I do have a guest here who is going to help me do this, and her name is Linda Roberta Azantilo. She's the CEO of TZ Headquarters. She is from the Upper East region, and she'll be talking more about Sandema and what these foods mean to them. But of course, she's very much qualified to speak about the foods and what they mean for different parts and different people from the Northern Belt as a whole. Hello, Linda.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
Wonderful. Good to see you.
Good to see you again, too.
Okay, so let's get right into this. First of all, let's tell our viewers and listeners what food we have here.
Okay, so first of all, we have our popular TZ or Zafi.
Zafi.
This is the corn Zafi.
Okay.
Okay, this is the one we know down south.
Okay.
And then we have the millet Zafi. This is what we also know down north.
Okay.
So it's coming with the soups or the sauces. This is the bra or the bitter soup.
Okay.
And then we have the popular ayoyo or the jute leaf vegetable soup.
That's the green one.
Yes, the green one. It comes with the sauce and your guinea fowl.
Okay.
And then also way back in the north we have the dry okra soup. So all these go with the millet Zafi or the corn Zafi.
Okay.
Then we have our bambaran beans also here, which goes with the vegetable oil or the shea butter oil. So this is actually the shea butter oil. This is what we use in the north.
Okay.
And then it goes with the dry pepper.
Okay.
Yes, so if somebody doesn't want to take too much oil, the person can go with the green shito or the black shito.
Okay, and that's similar to what we have down in the south.
South, yes.
Okay.
Then we have our bambara, our tubani.
Okay.
Yes, also goes with the oil or the pepper or any of the sauces.
Okay, so the bambara and the tubani go with the same
Yes, they go with the same thing.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have the mutuo, which is which can be served with groundnuts. I mean, from the northern part, we take groundnuts. I mean, from the southern part, you can take it with abenquine, which is palm nut soup, or any other soup of your preferred choice.
Okay.
Then we have our popular dawa dawa jollof rice, as you can see over here.
Okay.
So all these meals are what we have in the north.
Okay, so let's start with, let me see, tubani.
Yeah.
What ingredients go into it?
Okay. So with the tubani, you can use the bambaran beans or the normal beans.
Okay, that's the black-eyed beans.
Yes, the black-eyed beans.
The one we use for gobe.
Yes.
Okay.
You can use that one. But then the steps are, first of all, you have to mill it.
Okay.
Yes, to become powdery. And then the process, just like you trying to bake cake.
Okay.
The mixture of your saltpeter, a little water, and then this is we have used the green bean leaves.
Okay.
This is what we use in the north, but in the south mostly it's done without the the green leaves.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on the individual. Yeah, so once that is done, you just ensure...
You mentioned saltpeter, so that's what a lot of people call kanwe.
Yes,
kanwe.
Kanwe, just a little. You can add a little salt, depends on your taste though. And then you have your boiling water. It needs a lot of steam.
Okay.
Yes, it's actually steam that cooks tubani.
Okay.
Yes, so once your water is just a little water, once it's very hot, you package your mixture into the wache leaves or the kola nut leaves or any leaf of your choice.
Okay.
And then you place in your pot. And then it's boiled or steamed for like 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
Once it's done, you take it out, then you cut or shape to your preferred size.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. So it's beans based.
Beans
Tubani
based.
is beans
Highly
based.
protein. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's good for people who want to go strictly on vegetarian diet.
Okay.
It's very, very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the bambara beans.
Yes.
A lot of the time in the South, when we think of bambara beans, it looks a little more soupy,
yeah.
more like a stew of
yeah.
sorts. I mean, I'm a Ghana, we would typically do aboboeka, tatalika aboboe.
Yeah.
But here, the bambara beans look dry. They
yes.
don't have so much moisture.
Yes.
So what went into that preparation, or what goes into that kind of preparation?
Okay, so beans is just very simple to make, just like the way you boil beans.
Okay.
Yes, it's the same process. The difference is that bambara beans may boil a bit longer to get the softness of it.
Because they are hard.
Yes, so it's the same process. Okay. Yeah, but once it's done, some people may prefer it softer. So let's say you want to eat bambara beans, but you don't want to take it with the oil. So you can make it more softer with your gari, with your red oil, and with your ripe plantain. Okay. And you are perfect to go.
Okay, okay, great. Now let's talk about the dawa dawa jollof.
Yes.
And jollof is a big conversation in Ghanaian cuisine in general. A lot of the time, when we think of any rice dish from the northern part of Ghana, we think of wache.
Yes.
We don't really think of jollof. So let's talk a bit about dawa dawa jollof.
Yeah. Okay, so
what is dawa dawa?
So the dawa dawa is the African bean locust, as we know, but it has a lot of health benefits.
Okay.
So for instance, you want to watch your weight, you are good to go. It helps in good vision. It helps in the treatment or management of stroke, diabetes, cholesterol levels, and all that, heart diseases. It's very, very medicinal. You know, up north, that is what we use on daily basis. It could be as a spice or whatever means. It's very, very medicinal. So the rice is just a local rice that we all know we use in the north. And then the process is just like you preparing jollof rice.
Okay.
But then from the stage of you preparing your sauce or your stew, you drop in the dawa dawa because it's very hard. Yeah, so to soften it a bit, and then you put in your rice or whatever other spice you want, and then you have your dawa dawa jollof. Okay. So it's the same process as the typical jollof rice we know.
And you usually eat it with guinea fowl?
Yes, guinea fowl.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, speaking of rice, there's also a motuo here. Something else that a lot of people don't really think about when we think about the food that is eaten by our northern brothers and sisters. So let's talk about the omoto and the groundnut soup.
Yes.
Is it common across the northern belt?
Yes, it is very common.
Okay.
Very common within the northern sectors and the Zongo communities.
Okay.
Yeah, and also common within most of the West African countries like Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, and the rest. And groundnut soup is high in proteins, very healthy for you to take. So this one, we use the local rice because the local rice, the nutrients, we're able to retain most of the nutrients. So once you get your rice boiled, like typical rice you want to boil or steam, then but it's very soft, so you have to make it more softer, and then you keep stirring to let the starch come out. So once you keep stirring, then it comes together, then you form it into a ball or any preferred shape, and then you have your mutuo.
So basically, the rice version of banku or
tuzafi. Yes.
Okay, great. And then the groundnut soup.
Yes.
The groundnut soup.
Yeah.
Groundnut is grown a lot in the northern part. And you are from Sandema.
Sandema.
Good. And so you have a lot of groundnuts there.
Yes.
Would that inform why groundnut soup is popular in the northern part?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Because most of the northern regions, Upper East, Upper West, northern region, we all grow the groundnuts. It's more of a farming community. So most of our foods that we farm are the groundnuts, the rice, the millet, and all those things. Yam, the bambara beans, and all that. Okay. So that's one of the reasons we tend to get groundnuts from that sector.
Good. Now let's talk about the almighty tuwo Zafi.
Yes.
So there's maize or corn tuwo.
Yes.
and then we have the millet tuwo. Millet tuwo is my preference anyway.
It's also my preference.
Yes, and I must say that Linda is one of the people who introduced me to it. Prior to that, I knew about the maize, and I think that's typically more popular south. So it's white. When you think of tuwo Zafi, you think of it being white, but the millet is more brownish, almost like kokonte, Gigi.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit wineish.
Okay.
Because we have the grey millet, and then we have the wine millet. Yeah, so it depends on the type of millet you use to prepare. That will define the color.
Okay. Yeah. Now the process of making tuwo Zafi. Let's talk just a little bit about that.
Okay.
It's similar to making banku or akple, but not exactly the same.
Yes, not exactly the same. Okay, so with the white one, which is the white corn, you have your water boiling at a good temperature, and then you have the paste or the flour mixed in a different bowl, and then you stir. Once the water is boiling, you add the mixed flour inside the boiling water. Okay. And then it boils for like 10 to 15 minutes. Then you fetch maybe like a scoop or a cup out, and then you add in your paste. But you have to keep stirring, because if you miss a bit, you may have lumps in the tuwo. So you keep stirring for some 10 minutes, and then you add the porridge one you've left behind. Okay. You add it, and then for like 10 to 15 minutes, it should be ready, and then you dish it out. Okay. Yeah. So the tuwo is usually very soft. It can be taken by a baby, a 6-month-old baby and above, an elderly person, because it's very soft. You can take it as breakfast or as lunch or as supper or dinner. It's very, very soft. Okay. Yes. And then
so tuwo is a good meal to use to wean a baby.
Yes.
So for the mothers who are listening, you want to wean your baby, introduce him or her to solid foods. Tuwo is a good way
it's very good, especially with your jute vegetable.
Okay. That's the ayoyo.
The ayoyo, yes. It has a lot of iron, folate, and proteins, which is also good for the baby's weight.
Okay. So just to highlight that, what we call ayoyo, the ayoyo leaves, in English or in international parlance, is jute. So the same jute that we use for our cocoa sacks, the jute fiber, it comes from the same plant. That's ayoyo. Okay.
So with the millet, it's the same process. The difference between the white corn tuwo Zafi and the millet tuwo Zafi is in the fermented water. Okay. So with the millet, you have to prepare fermented water overnight. It's just taking a little of the milled millet flour, add water to whatever size, and then you leave it overnight.
Is that the same flour that we use for Hausa cocoa?
Yes, the same flour.
Okay.
Yes. So that's the difference. Okay. Yeah, because the millet is more of protein. Yeah, so the fermented water gives that little starch to make it very refined to your taste. Okay. Yeah, so that's the difference.
Okay. Yeah. Great. So now let's talk about, still staying on tuwo, the cultural significance of tuwo Zafi. Yeah. You mentioned that you can eat it at any time of the day. It's good for people of all ages, even your 6-month-old baby, and then our elderly who at that point may have problems with their dentition because of age and whatnot. But it also has ceremonial significance.
That's true. That's true. So from where I come from, Sandema, during our festive seasons, we prefer the millet tuwo Zafi. That is what is cooked or prepared during the festive occasions. In most of the northern parts of Ghana, it is the tuwo Zafi that is mostly prepared during the festive occasions. Okay. Even during marriage ceremonies, naming ceremonies, it is the tuwo that is preferred. And then when it comes to funeral, ceremonies and the rest, mostly we do the emutuo, and also we do the tuwo Zafi as well. Okay. Yes.
So primarily, what are some of the festivals that you are likely to see tuwo Zafi at?
Okay, so the Fiok Festival, that is from Sandema, the Busa people, we celebrate Fiok Festival in December.
What's the significance of that festival?
Yeah, it's just to appreciate the fighters who stood in during the colonial days and then the slavery days. Is to appreciate all the times we've gone through, the bravery, the courage that was shown and exhibited during those times.
Who tried to protect the people against the slaves.
Yes, that is why we place significance on the millet, because it gives, the fighters that energy. Yeah, and it's a farming community, so most of the time when our uncles and our fathers are going to the farm, they make sure they have their millet with them. Yeah, because it gives them that energy to be able to farm in the hot sun, during the day.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. And so you are likely to find Zafi at the wedding of most of our brothers and sisters who are coming from the northern part. And then when it comes to a funeral, apart from the Zafi, you most likely see
the rice balls, and then the Zafi as well.
Now let's talk about the bito.
Yes.
Bito is kenaf. That's what they call it. Again, internationally recognized name, kenaf. 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 But it's a type of hibiscus.
Yes.
And I know there's a link between that and some of the drinks we'll also be
bisau.
talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the bito stew, bito leaves.
Yeah, so the bito leaves, you can get the leaves from the Nima market or from the Agbogloshi market. And then you just take it off the stem, wash it thoroughly, and then
so that's for those in the south or in Accra who want to replicate the
but then it's prepared with groundnut, fresh groundnut. So before that process, you have to make sure you have your groundnut pounded. Yes, in your mortar.
So this is groundnut. It's not roasted. It's not boiled.
No, it's a fresh one. Pounded in the mortar. Yes, and then that one is kept on fire first, and then after that you take out your boiled bra or the bitter leaves and add into the pounded groundnut. You can add your tomatoes, your ginger, and your other spices, and then allow it to cook for like some 20 to 30 minutes, and then it's ready to go.
Okay, wonderful. Of shea butter.
Yes.
So let's talk about the significance of shea butter.
Yeah.
I think globally there are still conversations about shea butter not. In fact, I've read articles even as recently as yesterday that tell you that shea butter is not edible. But here we are.
Yes.
We're talking about tubani, and shea butter is a key element if you're going to eat it. I even see shea butter and how, again, for our radio listeners especially, the tour has been put in calabashes. Okay, so it's been set in calabashes, and underneath there's shea butter oil, so that doesn't stick to the calabash.
And then keeps the top from drying
out. Okay, so let's talk about the significance of shea butter in the northern meals.
Okay, so with the shea butter in the northern part of Ghana, it's either edible or you use it on the skin. You know, we are coming from a place that the weather is a bit dry, the sun is very hot. So this one helps maintain our skin very well, and it also helps prevent a lot of wrinkles. If you see, I have my two maternal grandmothers who are still alive, and if you see their skin as compared to mine, you see that yes, the shea butter really is doing a lot of wonders. So back in the north, we use the shea butter to eat with our bambaran beans and our tubani. But before you do that, you have to put it on fire for it to heat up to desired temperature, and then you chop in your onions, and then you are good to go.
Okay, so let's talk just going back to the Zafi. Where does the name come from?
Okay, so the Zafi actually is an Hausa language. So the to means stirring or paddling, and then the Zafi means hot.
Okay, so the kind of stirring that we know to do with banku, like you've described with the motto, with the Zafi itself. So
and
to is stirring,
stirring.
paddling.
Yes, and then the Zafi means hot.
Okay.
Back in the south, they call it diehuru. So it's on fire, it's hot. So that's how the name came about. But in our language, or where I come from, most of the northern parts of Ghana, we call it sap. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So
Zafi is a Hausa name.
Yes. Sap is what we from the northern parts call it sap.
Okay. Okay. Now, Zafi, is it? I know you said it's eaten in most of the northern parts, of course, including.
Even in West African, most of the West African countries, Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Guinea. Yeah, most of them take most of the northern meals as well.
Okay. And so the Zafi, they also call it Zafi.
Okay, they call it Zafi also over there because it's originated from the Hausa language.
And of course, the Hausas are spread across
everywhere.
West Africa. Okay, wonderful. Now let's talk a little bit about some of the drinks that we have here.
Okay.
There's Pito, almighty Pito. And I know we have 2 different types of Pito here.
Yes.
So let's break that down.
Okay.
Okay, so
this is the fermented Pito. Yes.
Okay. What is it made from?
Okay, it's made from the red millet.
Okay.
Yes. So the same process as the sweet Pito.
Okay.
The other one is a little bit sweet.
Okay.
The other one is fermented.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the fermented one.
All right.
Yes.
And at what point would you find people drinking this?
All occasions, marriage ceremonies, naming ceremonies, during the festivals, even on daily basis, like the weekends, you know, you want to relax at home or at a gathering, a party. I mean, it's everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which parts of the north would you find people drinking this?
All the parts of the north. Yeah, all the parts. Yes.
And it's usually served in the calabash.
In the calabash.
In the calabash.
In the calabash.
Okay.
So if you come to my hometown, you see a lot of Pito and it's served in the calabash. Actually, when you come, that's what to welcome you with, you know, to welcome you to Sunday, man.
And you find this happening in other parts
of the
as
north.
well?
Yes, everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about the bisap.
Yes.
What a lot of people in the south would call sobolo.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is used to make sobolo?
Okay, so actually, the sobolo, as we all know, is actually from the bra or the bitter leaves.
The bitter leaf,
yes.
okay.
So after harvesting the leaves, the buds are left to bud out or to flower, and then it's plucked and then kept to dry in the sun. So when it dries, it turns into purple-like color. So once it turns to the purple-like color, that is what we take it out and then boil to prepare the bisap. So once it's prepared, you can add your sugar, your ginger, your pepper, your huintia, prekese, all the other spices to your taste. Okay. Yeah, so it's actually coming from the bra or the bitter leaves.
So the same plant.
Yes.
The same canaf that we spoke about.
Yes.
Okay, so let's again stay on the sobolo a little, or the bisap.
Yeah.
You call it bisap. What language is that?
So it's an Hausa language.
Hausa.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. It seems like a lot of the names have Hausa origin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it also because of migration?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because most of those days, a lot of them settled within the northern parts of Ghana. And you know, the culture and all those things got mixed up with some of the people around. So that's how come most of the names are gotten from the Hausa language.
And you also had a lot of these people coming down from Mali, especially.
Yes, and Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Yeah.
For example, the Bambara beans, we've spoken a lot about Bambara, but the name Bambara.
Yes. So the name Bambara actually means unbeliever.
Unbeliever.
Yes. So actually in 1854, there was a particular religion that was introduced to the Bambara people, which is present day the Mandi people in Mali.
Okay.
Yes. So it was introduced by a conqueror called Tukulo.
Tukulo.
Yes. Al Omar Ad. So that's how come the name Bambara actually stemmed from the Mali people. I mean, those days, the Mande tribe. So it is so called Bambara. The tribe is so called Bambara, but today they are known as the Mande people. Okay. But then Bambara is almost in every part of the West African regions. The Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Guinea, and Ghana. Even Nigeria as well. So that is how the Bambara name came about.
So does it mean that so these people who were called Bambara, right?
As unbelievers.
As unbelievers.
Yes, of the particular religion that was being introduced.
So does it mean that while they were traveling or running away from this kind of tyranny, this religious tyranny, they were carrying the beans with them? Okay, so wherever they would take them, the people would identify them as
Bambara.
Bambara.
And this was their staple food. So it was like, oh, what is this? Oh, Bambara, Bambara, But actually, Bambara sometimes it's called Bambara granite, Bambara pod, Bambara beans. It's grown just like granite.
Okay.
Yes, and then it's the way you plant the granite and all that, you harvest and all that, it's the same process.
Okay.
It's from the roots. You see the husk. It's also, the husk look like the granite husk.
Okay.
But just that this one is round in shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not elongated.
No, like the granite. Yes.
Okay. Great. I mean, well, even some of the granites you find round ones in there somewhere sometimes. Okay. Now, let's talk generally. There are lots of beliefs that northern foods are healthier.
Yes.
And you even mentioned that the use of shea butter, both eating it and using it on the skin. When you look at your grandmothers who are very old, they don't have wrinkles. So what's your take on this? Are these myths? Because we spoke about dawa dawa earlier, for example, and you know what it does for the body. It's good for management of hypertension, of diabetes. We are told that if you drink some of the drinks that we've spoken about here, you have also, some people even talk about sexual prowess, you know, and sexual health, reproductive health. What's your take on all that?
Okay, so most of I do agree strongly that the northern males are very, very healthy.
Not just because you are from there.
No. You see, for instance, if somebody who is strictly a vegetarian, he may go with the tubani.
Okay.
Go with the beets. He still gets the proteins, the carbohydrates, the vitamins, the minerals, the iron, the folate, without necessarily taking meat or fish.
Okay.
And then it's cheaper to go with these meals, get the right nutrients into the body without spending so much on meats or fish or any other protein. And then also it helps in slowing down the aging process. Most of our meals, like the jute leaves, the dawa dawa, all of them, they help to slow down the aging process. And then they also help in the reproductive system. You know, the dawa dawa, for instance, is a good source to ensure that you are healthy, you know, all the time. Like I mentioned earlier, stroke, diabetes, heart diseases, cholesterol levels, all those things that all help to manage or support to ensure that you are healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Now, there's one thing that we haven't spoken about, so very quickly, the zankom or frou-frou.
Yes, the frou-frou, yes.
Okay. Is it the same as lamujin?
Okay, so we all use millet, but it's the process that differentiates lamujin from the zonko.
Okay. So the lamujin is drunk where? Which parts of the north?
In the Zongo communities.
In the Zongo
yes, so actually the lamujin was actually introduced by the Hausa. Yes. So the zonkom is what we from the northern, upper east, upper west we know.
Okay.
Yes. So usually you have your millet.
Okay. So lamujin is more of the Hausa communities.
Yes. The Zongo communities. Yes.
And then the zankom or frou-frou is more upper east,
upper west, and the northern parts of
Ghana. Okay.
So the process is just like you soak the millet in water for a day, and then you sieve the water out. You go and mill it. Let it stay overnight for another day to let it ferment just a day.
Okay.
And then you take a portion out, add your hwentia, your spices, prekese, your sugar, your ginger, and all that. And then sieve it to your desired thickness, and you have your zonko.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And it's non-alcoholic.
It's not alcoholic.
So the only thing here that is alcoholic is the fermented pitou. Okay. Oh, wonderful. Very interesting. I've been speaking, of course, to Linda Azantila, and she, look, I mean, you've taught us a lot. so much this morning. But let me invite David. David is here with me. For our radio listeners, you can't see us, but we are wearing, we're dressed for the north today.
Yes.
So we have some of the, what some would call the northern kente or the fugu or anything of that sort. Quick, David, what's your favorite northern meal?
It's the dawa dawa jollof.
Wow.
Easy,
And what did you learn today? I mean, you lived in Tamale for 3 years.
And I traveled, you know, through a lot of the northern
You've been
parts.
to Sandema
So I've been
before?
to Sandema, I've been to Tumu, I've been to Golu, I've been to Jirapa, Laura, and then in the upper east side, I've been to Boku, Garu Timpani.
Okay, that's Boku, yes.
I've been to the Bongo area, you know, Bongo district as well.
Wow.
So of course, Bolga, I've even stayed in Bolga for a while as well.
So when he tells you his favorite is the Adar Jollof, it's not like, I like the millet too.
Yes.
But my favorite thing about the meals.
The Tubani.
Yes,
Tubani is one of my favorites.
Yes.
I like Shea butter a lot.
Yes.
So I like it a lot. Okay.
But my favorite thing about the meals, in the northern meals, is the healthy nature.
Yes.
The fact that we don't overcook them, you know, and then also they're very, I mean, we've taken, you know, all the spices, the herbs, you know, all these things, just it's full of natural goodness, you know, it's just very rich. I like it, I like it.
Our director, those behind the scenes, our technical producers, they're all saying they didn't know the meaning of Zafi. So today they've learned.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
They've learned.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Linda, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, we must thank Rustic Empire, GH, for our set, our heritage set. And of course, Shallywood Ventures GH for decking us out in this wonderful regalia.
And Ratish Trends as well.
Ratish Trends. And of course, for the Heritage On Air series that you've been listening to on City FM and watching on City TV.